Welcome back, everyone. This is Mr. Brand, your friendly neighborhood gaming dad, here with another hero breakdown video. And this is one that many of you may not be using, but I thought was kind of interesting in how he's used. And that is Harald Fairhide, however you pronounce him. And we're just going to break him down, his stats, skills that you compare with him, and different ways he can be used in a team. First and foremost, he's an assault commander. If you've seen my skills basics videos, you understand that assault type skills are activated based on normal attacks. There's a 40% chance every normal attack that this skill will go off. And it's a fairly powerful skill. Launches 3 physical attacks to a single enemy unit. Each target is randomly selected. Upon hitting the enemy commander, increase his own damage by 10% for 2 rounds. If the user is the commander, additionally inflicts forbidden healing for 2 rounds upon hitting the enemy commander. This pretty much forces him to be in the commander position. That forbidden healing cancels any healing effect for 2 rounds, and considering there's a lot of builds out there that incorporate some level of healing, especially for the commander, having it on your commander is extremely beneficial. So let's not waste that portion of the skill and understand that in your lineup, he's going to take this first spot. This is the commander position. Now, as for his stats, he is a very strong physical attacker. There's not too many commanders out there that have a higher physical stat than he does, at least at base. 193 is what I have him at now, and he's only level 34 comparatively. And he's got a fairly solid agility, meaning he's going to move pretty quickly in combat as far as turn order is concerned. But his tactical, or his intelligence, and his defense are absolutely abysmal. And we're going to need to work around this when we're making his lineup. Now, as far as what skills to use, like I said, he's very much a physical attacker. If you've seen any of the assault skills, this is one of the best ones in the game. If you're running an assault team that doesn't need it elsewhere, it should be on one of your assault commanders. Preferably the strongest one, or the one whose strength you're going to buff the most. Winged Hussar March, hitting a single target for 425%, actually, just so we have it right, a 500% attack from the commander going towards the enemy commander, assuming not taunted. That's very powerful. I personally like this one on my commander because my goal with the assault team is to kill the commander as quickly as possible. If I end up killing other people, great, but if you kill the commander first in any lineup, if this one goes down, these two can be at full health. It doesn't matter. The troop will go home. They've lost. So having Harald here with very powerful physical single target attacks was my goal, to try and take down the enemy commander as quickly as possible. My other choice, to keep it on the sense of powerful single target attacks, was to pair it with another one, Persian Scythe Chariot, specifically for the forbidden healing and the ability to heal my own troops. It's affected by strength, which is abnormal for healing abilities. Most of them are based off of intelligence. And I can keep my own commander alive while dealing additional damage to enemy commanders with a fairly solid probability of occurring. So these are the choices I have. Other choices that you could use for skills are actually ones I use in my lineup already. Gaulish Charge is another powerful one. After a normal attack, inflicts physical attack on the target for 476%, with a 50% chance of inflicting forbidden healing. If the caster is under the batter state, it deals damage again. This is technically more powerful than the Persian Scythe Chariot, obviously. However, I wanted the healing on my commander, and Saladin has a much more consistent batter stat with his main skill. I'm not going to talk too much about other commanders. Gaulish Charge is one you could use. Some other ones that are really great. You can literally just click on assault skills, and a lot of these are pretty good for you. Three-sided attack is an AoE physical attack. Inflicts forbidden healing. Capture the King is another really great one for Harald to hold on to. It inflicts damage on the target. If it's an enemy commander, does even more damage. I believe this climbs pretty quickly. 302 and 460. So if you don't have something else, you can definitely stack more damage on that. It's just got a slightly lower probability, so keep that in mind. Lance Duel gives you the option of inflicting silence, so you can draw the fight out a little bit more. Dealing physical damage after normal attacks, and being better under the batter state. And of course, there's also Blade Assault. Most of the assault skills tend to favor assault teams, obviously. So you're not really going to go too wrong with any of these choices. I found that a lot of the assault commanders are strength-based and tend to work for you regardless. When adding points, focus on boosting his strength. The way I have him built, you don't really need to make him any faster, and I personally have no reason to make him go faster. And finally, his gear, you want to boost his strength as well. If you have any strength stat buffs in your gear, definitely lean those into Harald as well. As for pairings, there are two routes you can go. Saladin is obviously a really great choice for an assault commander. He's honestly one of the better assault commanders in the game. If you don't have Saladin or any of the other 6-star ones, a couple of really good 5-stars you can find in Bybars, who's just straight damage with a very good probability. Scipio is straight damage with a little bit of silence thrown in. And 5-star commanders tend to have a lot of... You can build them up pretty quickly. There's also Ragnar Lodbrok as well. However, I tend to stay away from him because it requires him to have more than 50% of his troops still in combat, and if you've dealt in PvP for any amount of time, this is a very hard skill to take advantage of, because eventually you're going to get hit, and once he gets below 50% health, he's useless, comparatively. If you have him awakened, Toussaint Louverture is a very good assault support commander. He's not going to deal a lot of damage himself, but the second portion of his skill, if no other assault skill is equipped, increases the strength of the other vice commander by a good amount, up to 63 for two rounds. And you can pair Toussaint with another powerful vice commander, like Saladin, for example, to really pump the damage. And it's really easy to get Toussaint with no other assault skills. If you need more defense as opposed to offense, two staples on the defensive side of things are Alexander the Great, whose taunt ability will draw all damage to himself pretty consistently for the first 4 rounds, and decreases all damage to himself. So he will keep your other 2 commanders alive for at least the first 4 rounds. By then, you should have enough of an advantage to win. Constantine is a favorite of mine defensively.
Cui rex solur Romae.
You've got damage reduction, you've got taunt changes, you've got increases to damage dealt and healing to a random ally. Constantine just does a little bit of everything, and it's wonderful. He isn't as good at taunting as Alexander is, so you probably will still take damage on your other commanders. But with the healing ability we have on Harald, it'll still work out. And that's all I can say about Harald. He's an interesting choice for assault teams, definitely needs to lead them, and is capable of putting out quite a bit of damage against an enemy commander, as well as halting their ability to heal consistently. So, if you want to run an assault team, think about putting Harald as the lead. With that, this is Mr. Brain, your friendly neighborhood gaming dad, signing off.